All right. Hello, everybody. This is the Open Collar Podcast. We are on episode 17. And unfortunately, Corey is not with us today, so
Boo.
I will. Unfortunately, I will have to take the lead. So bear with me on this. Of course, we'll give a shout out to all our live streamers on YouTube and everyone else listening all across the world, but mostly in North America.
For now,
until we take over the world, and at that point,
can't happen if Corey doesn't show up.
That's right. Corey will be back next week, but we'll just have to figure it out from there.
This is where we go big. Now's our time, V.
This is it. So let's start. What do we normally do? Let's just start with what's going on with you. You haven't been here for 1 week. 2 weeks?
I think it's been a couple because you guys had Holly on last week.
Yes.
And Corey said I could ride the pine for last week. He brought in the female talent.
That's right.
Try to see if it could, pump up her views a little bit.
It worked out pretty well.
It did it. Did it actually go well? I caught like a bit of it. I think
so. I don't know.
And I watched a bit. I was like, oh yeah, it looks like they're all having fun. So I let it do its thing.
Yeah.
The week before that, I think something came up where I was similar to Corey, where I kind of had to bow out at the last minute.
Yeah.
I think Corey was like upset with me for like 24 hours. He had his like little moment where he gave me the silent treatment, but he came around after.
The silence treatment.
I do have a quick rant that I do want to get into that I kind of just remembered.
Another old lady?
No, this is not an old lady.
No old ladies.
Actually, in this story, I'm the old lady.
Whoa. Okay, yeah, here we go. Plot twist.
So, as you may or may not be aware, I'm a fan of food, pretty much all food.
Yes, food is... It's weird when people aren't a fan of food.
That's what I kind of think. So, a couple days ago, Boston Pizza had I think it's their National High Five Day. Why it's called that, not entirely sure, but basically the premise is that they give like individual pizzas for $5. It's like a pretty good deal. Like, I'm not really a huge fan of Boston pizza, but it's for $5. Like, it's lunch, and I figured I'd go give it a shot. And
yeah, why not?
I've always had kind of reservations about Boston Pizza in the past. I haven't gotten really the greatest service in recent years, but like whatever, $5 lunch. Like, what are you gonna do? So I go to Boston Pizza. I get one of their $5 pizzas. I demolish it. It was okay. And so I was like, wow, it's like, that was actually like a really good pizza. Like, can I get another one? And the waitress like shakes her head at me and almost slight disgust, maybe a little remorseful. I couldn't really tell. And she's like, I'm sorry. We can only do one $5 pizza per person. And I'm like, that doesn't sound like a rule at all. Like, yeah. I'm like, how can that be? Like, what happens if, a person wants multiple pizzas? Like, I'm not talking like a large pizza. Like, I'm talking like these are just like personal individual pizzas. And so it's like, so what's the deal? Like, how come you can't like give another one? It's like, oh, well, we only have like a certain amount of pans for these pizzas. And like last year we ran out of pans. And I was like, okay, I'm like, just like, not to play devil's advocate here, is like, have you thought about buying more pans for the subsequent year? I was like, that sounds like the real solution. That way you actually don't have to have this conversation with the customers. Like,
also, like, just do the dishes.
That was kind of my second thought. I was like, I didn't want to be like, well, how about you wash the damn pan and make it again? Like, I didn't want to get into that.
It's tough saying that to females in.
Yeah, and like I get it. Like, she's the waitress. Like, she doesn't make the rules. Like, I semi understand that. So, anyways, I left hungry and kind of angry.
Angry,
if you will.
They should make a word for that.
So, anyways, while I was at work on my the remainder of my lunch, since I was no longer eating pizza, I decided to do what every person nowadays does and voice my hangriness on Facebook. So I go to the Boston Pizza page, and sure enough, they're promoting their National High Five Day. And I kind of write them a little love letter and say, you know what? Like, I got cut off at like one pizza today, guys. Like, what's that about? Like, is that a rule? Is that a thing? Like, should I, am I in the wrong here as, a fat person trying to eat multiple pizzas? It's like, you know, and I think I wrote like, instead of like a high five, like I feel like I got a kick in the nads here. Like I don't think it's called Happy Kick in the Nads Day. Like, so anyways,
that should not be a day.
Should not be a day at all. And so anyways, like this goes, I guess, to like their Facebook Messenger. I guess all these comments go to like Facebook Messenger. And you know what they do?
Okay.
You know
I know what they did. Yes.
Like a hot girl on Instagram. She, Boston Pizza being the she here, leaves me on red.
So good.
Leaves me on red. Seen at whatever, like 12:02 or what have you. No response. No, we'll get back to you. No, nothing. Just flat out check mark, red, done. Anyways, like after I saw this, like I thought about it on the drive home today. Like, and this was like going on 2 days ago now. Like, I'm still fuming about this. So, Boston Pizza, if you're listening, we're officially at war. And yeah, you have a train coming. But anyways, that's my old lady kind of rant for the day.
Brutal, though. Like, it just doesn't make like I don't know.
It's not about the pizza. It's kind of about the pizza.
Yeah.
But it's more about the principle.
Yeah. But it's like, would you have been able to, say, leave the restaurant, do an old Abe Simpson, and just roll your way back in?
Yeah,
and then I would like another table, and I would like another pizza. Like, I'm a brand new customer.
And what I found out today is somebody like, because you know this is a Facebook wide story now. Somebody sent me like a post from Boston Pizza saying that you can get more than one. So that just made me fume even more. Like I was clearly treated differently as a multiple pizza eater.
That's brutal.
It was a set.
Next year's National High Five Day, though, you're gonna be like, I would like 3 of them, and I would like them right now. And
I'm bringing in like the screenshot, and I'm gonna be like, don't sell me into that bullshit.
Yeah,
you don't do multiple pizzas.
Don't leave me on red.
So my closing remarks on this little tale is, as we get older, like we kind of like see old people like making these, you know, scenes at restaurants and kind of getting nitpicky with, you know, how they're served and stuff like that. But I'm finding myself as I get older that I'm getting closer and closer to doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So is it because that like you and I have jobs, you know, outside of this podcast that we're expected to deliver on a certain, you know, on a certain standard?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like if we deliver substandard work, like we get called out on it, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's because as you get older and as you get more experience within your own work, you kind of expect the same standard with other things around you.
Because you know better.
And I think as you get older, like you've seen what, you know, quality looks like, you've seen what efficiency looks like, whether it's with yourself or other businesses you've experienced through the past. So I think that's why old people get super, you know, PO'd when they don't get, you know, semi-decent service. And I think I get it as a 30-year-old.
Finally.
So
that's what it means to be 30.
Yeah. Apparently you just complain about stuff that really in the grand scheme of things doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter at all. It's like, you know, it's actually probably for the better that I didn't get that second pizza.
Yeah.
But at like,
the time, just being told you can't have the pizza. Like,
yeah,
maybe I didn't even want it. Like I was kind of just like, oh, like can I get another one? They're just like, no. It's like, well, now I want it. Like,
yeah, now I want it even more.
Like the Eric Cartman like School of Business, so they just tell you that you can't have it, so you have more next time.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, that's my rant. Do you have anything new going on with you, V?
Not really. It's been the same old week for me, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. There's some potential new plans in the works. I might be going to Paris for a week in September.
Nice. I've been to Paris. It's lovely.
Is it?
It is.
I've heard great things. I've never been, and so if it works out, I just have to figure out tickets and all that kind of stuff. But if it works out, that would be great. But yeah, other than that, I've been not doing much, mainly because I haven't wanted to see any movies in the theater.
I don't even know. I think I know the Meg is out.
Yeah,
that's about it. Somebody asked me if I wanted to go see Crazy Rich Asians.
I was like, the only movie that even
I don't necessarily know what it's about or what it entails, but
I think it's self-explanatory.
Yeah. Is it though? Like should I?
What I heard, I think it's about some rich Asians, obviously, but they go back to the homeland, the motherland, wherever they're from, and get treated differently for all these different things. Because they're they're like whitewashed and whatever. I think that's what it is. I'm not 100%.
It's like it's the new Jungle to Jungle.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
All right. Now I know what I'm dealing with.
Now I want to watch it. Some sad news today. We found out that Aretha Franklin dies.
Yes. So
she was
Twitter's blowing up.
76 years old. The Queen of Soul, they called her.
Now, like I don't think I listened to much Aretha Franklin when I was younger, but I'm pretty sure like a lot of music that we listen to today is highly derived from things that Aretha Franklin did, right? And a lot of artists came out of the woodwork today, thanking her for being an inspiration and like she's a big reason why they got into music and all that stuff, right? So exactly. I guess it's important that we kind of acknowledge her and call her the hero that she is.
And whether a lot of her songs or not, there's a few that like pretty much everyone knows. So Natural Woman, Say a Little Prayer, and her most well-known song is Respect, which is yes. It's an anthem for women.
I think I just know that song from The Office.
I was going to say.
That's like where I know it from.
The Office jokes. Eddie Murphy in one of his comedy skits does a big thing on respect, and it's great.
So huge influence on not only music, but comedy
everywhere.
Yeah, entertainment.
And also, it is the 41st anniversary of the day Elvis Presley died, who was, widely known as the King of Rock. So King and Queen.
Yeah, kind of slightly ironic that would be the case. So I guess there's like a 1 in 365 chance of that.
Yeah,
essentially happening, right?
Exactly. But so we will say our RESPCTs to Aretha Franklin.
The
Queen. The original Queen. Now it's Beyonce, but
Beyonce, there can only be one. Takes over.
The OG Queen is not with us anymore. On to some lighter news. Well, not really lighter news. It's lighter in the sense that it's about movies. Not so great that Marvel, we've talked about James Gunn already.
Yeah, I think we've been hashing this out for a few weeks, but I think this was the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, it's essentially been finalized. James Gunn met with Disney, and they pretty much said, no, we are not going to turn back or dial back our decision. So James Gunn is officially off the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 project. Rumors have it they're still going to use his script, which I don't know. It could go either way. The new director might want to change some things, a lot of things.
Let me ask you this. So if you make this big deal about, whatever, he said a bunch of stuff, yada, 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 you make a big deal about firing him, but then you use the same script. Is that do you think that's really logical in terms of I think your point?
Well, I think the reason that they didn't want to use the script in the first place was that they would still have to, his name would still be attached to it in the credits. Right. It's going to say written by James Gunn. They can't not have that, the thing there. So, but then not having or not using his script was going to delay the project by who knows how long. Dave Bautista, we talked about it last week, that he said essentially I'm off the project.
Yeah, like he's not
unless
coming
you use
back.
his script. That was it. It was that he'll be off the project unless you use the script. It wasn't to get him to be the director or anything, but it was a stepping stone, and I think it'll stay that way. That Dave Bautista or Drax will be still be a major part of Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I think this is like a lose-lose battle for Disney at this point, because if you still use his script and his name's still on the credits, I think you have the same, social justice warriors be like, okay, like Disney, you kind of half fought this battle, and like,
exactly.
you know what? If you want to, I would argue that it wasn't right to get rid of Gunn, but let's just say that like there's a point to be made by getting rid of Gunn, and I think we can acknowledge that there is a point there. But if you're going to make that point, make it
all the way.
Don't half-ass it because, oh, well, we might lose Bautista, and there might be delays in the project. Oh, that's funny. Like if there's suddenly monetary impact or whatever, different varieties of impact. Now all of a sudden you can half-ass the point.
Yeah, now there's new rules because
there's new rules. Exactly. Money. Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. There's still a lot to hash out with that project and what's going to be going on with everything. And I think the script they have is still, it's not like a final draft or anything. So, maybe they just use it as the base level situation and go from there. But we'll have to just see how everything plays out with that. Yeah. I've been on the side that says don't fire him, but that's for, I don't agree with the stuff he said and everything, but I also think that I've said stuff 10 years ago that I think most people, I think most people, if you and we're sort of even relatively lucky where, a lot of our immature days and stuff like that isn't recorded the way that it is now. Absolutely.
And I'm sure like nobody's perfect. Like I'm sure I've said and done things in the past that have been questionable on a moral front, especially by today's standards. Like nothing specifically comes to mind, but
and that's the other thing is we talked about it on a podcast a while ago about how TV shows from 20 years ago can't be judged on today's values and ideas because those ideas weren't there. And not to say that it was okay to do it then. It was just accepted at that time. Yeah, it was different.
Have you seen the remember when you were talking about Zach Morris's trash?
Yeah.
Have you seen the similar series? It's called like A Very Special Episode.
Yeah.
And so they go back and
it's a cult and stuff.
Yeah, so they rake over the coals, all the old episodes, basically we've been talking about, just making them out to look terrible.
Exactly. Yeah. But by today's standards, absolutely. You cannot remake that episode today.
No, absolutely.
It wouldn't fly. And, a lot of Seinfeld episodes, Friends, all that kind of stuff. And that's just the 90s. That's, not that long ago.
No.
And then, the further back you go, obviously, the worse it gets.
The worse it gets, yeah.
And you're kind of like, oh, man, we can't do this.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you kind of just have to decide, all right, after it sucks, to say an arbitrary date, all right, 5 years, and, we kind of forget about everything you said 5 or 10 years ago. And
I think
because it's like driving, right? You get into a few accidents.
I agree. There should be,
and then they say, all right, now you have had a clean driving record for 5 years. You're back to driving on a good standard. And I think that's great, but it's hard to say what, if you just come back and you're like, all right, it's been 5 years. You can't just make up an arbitrary date and then go from there. Cause there's some stuff that's, you're in the danger zone for a bit, and then you're like, all right, you have 4 more months. Just don't say anything bad for 4 months.
Yeah.
And then, you're good in society again or whatever.
Yeah, I think obviously there just can't be a pure line in the sand where we can do that. But I do kind of agree on, we should have sort of a retaining period where you're not like morally off the hook per se, but like at least be like, okay, so like he said this like 7 or 8 years ago. Like obviously he's grown since then. Obviously the world has grown since then. We can't hold this. You can't hold somebody 100% accountable in a different world in a different time for, you know, things that you said in a previous era.
But but it's so like obviously we would, you know, if just there's like lots of bad people that are in the world and that were in the world 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago. And you don't want to say, well, it was 40 years ago, so now you're okay. Because, you know, like you're still bad. So
there's certain exceptions. Like we can't look at like World War II and be like, well, you know, them were the times.
Exactly.
Like, there were things that still stick out. Like obviously there's exceptions to this rule. But should you hold somebody like to the full, the full whatever, the long arm of the social justice law to something that they said 7 or 8 years ago, and they know full well that like it wasn't said, you know, with the most integrity.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You kind of got to give people a little bit of breathing room, I think, in that regard.
It sucks that I mean, obviously the best case would be to do a case by case thing.
Yeah.
But then it just turns into, well, you know, this person got off for this person got off for that, and this person didn't. Like, why? And then it just turns into a whole thing that you pretty much have to say, all right, here's the line. That's it. You got to go one side or the other. Unfortunately, that line tends to move when money's involved. So
absolutely. Well, I don't know. I don't think there will ever be a definitive right or wrong answer on that. I do feel like one day I think we're gonna push to one end of the spectrum a little too far, and I think you'll slowly start to see it dial back just a little bit. I think we're at the stage right now where, you know, like we've made a lot of progress regarding like certain things, like like same-sex marriages, you know, things like that, things that have been a problem for a long time. We've made so much recent progress in. I think we're just at that stage where we're making so much progress. We're just going all the way with it, and we're just seeing how far we can push it. And I think we're gonna, you know, reach the end of the cliff and be like, okay, like I think we've gotten a little too far now, and I think we need to dial it back to, you know, where it needs to be. That's my prediction.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where if you put everyone, you know, it sucks because you can't hold everyone. You should be able to hold everyone to the same standard, like just rules of, you know, not being a dick. Like rule 1, don't be a dick. That's it. And you just can't hold everyone accountable. Otherwise, you would nothing would ever get done ever by anyone, because everyone's a dick every once in a while.
Yeah, and I don't think, you know, not firing Gunn here, for example, would not be holding him to the same standard. But I just think that because of, you know, recent social media and, you know, the ease of access it is for celebrities and everyone else to, you know, post their thoughts, personal or otherwise, that I think we can be easily, you know, put into the kangaroo court scenario and say, oh, well, you know, you said this back in 2012. It's right here. It's documented, like for the public to see. Like we didn't have that 20 years ago. And I bet, you know, all these people who, you know, blame Gunn and stuff like that, I can almost guarantee you if all your, you know, your phrases and stuff like that were documented and stuff, like I bet people could dig up stuff on YouTube.
Oh, absolutely. And so, you know and they'll say stuff like, "Oh, well, you know, I did that outside of work. I was,
Then the
you know, I said that while I was, you know, out with my friends. That shouldn't affect anything I do at work." But it's the same situation with Gunn. Like he said it anyway.
Happens with athletes too. Like athletes, exactly. Especially on like draft day. It's amazing how 20 minutes before like an NFL draft, for example, this stuff comes out. And something comes out all of a sudden. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Just that's how it goes. Well, speaking of athletes, drafts. Well, not drafts so much, but We got some football preseason going on.
Yeah, we got a Thursday nighter tonight. It's that awkward time of year where we're watching preseason football and 6 players get hurt. I know the Niners have already had like a bunch of injuries that are already impacting them.
And that's your team, right?
Yeah, and I've always been one of those where I'm very anti preseason with especially football, but a lot of sports. I just don't think there's a reason why, especially people, who have like contracts and stuff, why they're risking their their season, potentially their career, on a game that is a glorified practice. And so why do we have like 4 weeks of NFL preseason?
Yeah, and like I understand the part of it that's, obviously the starters and second string, third string even, they're not fighting for a spot on the team. They're on the team, they're good, and there are definitely people who are, fighting just to get onto the team. Right. And they have to be able to show off their skills, and it's a lot harder to do that. If it's just a practice, it's a lot harder to show off skills against other teams and whatever. So yeah, you want to scrimmage against other teams just to see how you play against people that you haven't just been practicing with for months.
But even like
at the same time, at the same time, like I don't want my main stars going out and potentially getting hurt.
Yep. But in any sport, really, like the only one that I can think is like possibly safe is baseball. Like I think you're safe playing preseason baseball.
Yeah, but even then, it's still like, you want to see how you play.
Yeah.
With you want to see them play with the people they're going to be playing with. Unfortunately, you don't want to play those people because they might get hurt.
Yeah.
And so it's a big loop of what to do. And yeah, I mean, it is. It's a big practice that goes on, and there's more risk than reward, it seems like. Except for, again, it always comes back to money, but getting money for preseason ticket sales.
Yeah, but like I remember going to like Senators preseason games, you get them for like $15-$20. Like I don't like do they True, I guess maybe like the TV rights or stuff like that possibly might, bring in some revenue.
Yeah. But
I don't know.
To have 4 weeks, it's nice. It's like a gateway almost to be like, oh, this is actually pretty fun. Maybe I will pay like.
Maybe I will buy season tickets.
Yeah, maybe
like
not that far.
$6,000. Yeah,
but when does the football season actually start? When are we going to be?
It'd be first week of September. We got a couple more weeks of preseason left, and then it's officially the NFL season.
And how are the 49ers looking?
They'll be average this year. Yeah, they'll be average this year. I don't.
Is that pretty standard? Since
no,
was it
Jimmy Garoppolo? No. Oh, since Joe, like way back when.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, like for past like 15, 20 years, they've kind of been garbage. They've gone to the Super Bowl once, and they lost, and I cried, and ever since then they've kind of been crap. So
yeah, every year I'm like, this is the year I'm going to get into football. Like,
now's the time.
Everyone's into it and whatever, and then I don't want to just jump on a bandwagon and start cheering for New England or whatever. So then.
I think New England's on their way down. So if you want like a bandwagon team, like don't go for them. You're too late.
Yeah. But every year I say, well, this is the year I'm going to cheer on the Browns for
just go for the true underdog.
But and then at that point, every year I say that I watch one game maybe, and then nothing. But one of these days, the Browns are going to win the Super Bowl. And I'll say I've been cheering them on since the 90s.
Since X day.
Yeah, and I'm like, hey, I've been cheering the Browns on through thick and thin, mostly thin. And when they win, man, I'm gonna cash in hard.
Do it.
But even now I'm like, I didn't know anyone on the team. And then they got Johnny Manziel a few years ago, and I was like, sweet, high profile, whatever. And then that didn't last very long. And now I'm back to not knowing anyone on the team.
Well, they've got Baker Mayfield this year. So.
That's the one. That's the name.
Yeah, that's the new Johnny Manziel.
I played my first round or my first game of NFL Madden 19
Nice.
Madden 19 on PlayStation last night. And yeah, I just had no idea. I don't know what the plays are. I'm looking at arrows, and I'm like, yep, X, circle, square, whatever.
Hail Mary.
Yeah, it did not go well. I lost all the games, but
a little bit of practice.
It was actually pretty fun. But yeah, this is the year though. Browns 2018.
All right, you're calling
19. Yep, calling it right now.
You heard it here first.
Anything else in sports you got?
Not really. It's kind of a quiet time for sports until football starts.
I'll show off my T-shirt. I actually really like this one. I just got it a couple days ago, and so I'll bring this down a bit. So sorry, audio viewers, you can't see this, but we'll post it on the Instagram. This is a few weeks ago or a month ago or whenever I talked about meeting my YouTube
I remember that
hero, and this is one of his shirts. So this is his logo, generally with red and black colors, but this has the rainbow. I like to think of it as more of just like the pride stuff and the rainbow and all that kind of stuff. I'm pretty sure his idea was more about the Mac, like the old school Mac had these colors.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's open for interpretation.
There you go.
It's a great shirt. Unfortunately, it's not from our sponsor, 80stees.com, but that doesn't mean that their shirts are garbage, because I have tons of their shirts too. And if you want to get their shirts, go ahead to 80stees.com, and if you enter the promo code OpenCollar30 when you check out, you can save 30% on your purchase. That's 80stees.com. Celebrate your inner 80s kid with the raddest retro t-shirts and pop culture gear. And they're awesome. I'm on 80stees.com at least once every day or 2 days to check out what's new. And I'm very tempted often to get some shirts. I did order a couple weeks ago. So when they get in, I'll have a new batch of shirts to show off.
Awesome,
which will be fun. Yep, that's right. And let's go on to, I don't know, what do we have next? Anything you're excited for in the rest of the summer?
My summer kind of slowly faded away. It's like the when you grew up, you miss every summer. So yeah, it's always work, and then you try to go out every now and then you blink and it's
over.
It's over before it begins. And I'm more of a fall person anyway, so I don't know.
Oh really? I'm definitely all about summer. I'm a little sad. It's ending in the sense that days are getting a bit longer now and whatever, but I think the heat's still here for a while. So
yeah, it's kind of been like a hot, humid summer.
Yeah, so which I'm all about. I love the heat so much, so I'm never going to complain that it's like this, and I will definitely complain once it starts to get colder because F the cold. But
I agree there.
I'm hoping to get a couple more beach days in and see what happens from there. What? I had something. What were we just talking about? Summer, beach.
T-shirts.
T-shirts, yeah.
We'll blame Corey.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this one's on you, Corey.
He's supposed to be here to keep us in line.
Yeah.
I got this other thing in the mail that I kickstarted a while ago, and I want to talk about it because I think it's cool. It's interesting. There's a lot of products like it now. This one just happened to be the one I kickstarted. But so it's a tech product, obviously, because that's what I am interested in. And it's this little thing. Oh, hello. Thank you. So refill. Yeah, refill. That was Emily on the refill train grabbing me another beer. So
man, Open Collar's really moved up.
Well, welcome, Emily, our first staff member.
Oh. And she's back. Oh, did I get one too?
Oh, hello. So this is the little device, and it's just like a little clip. It's pretty small. It has a headphone jack over here, a thing to charge it, And basically what it does is it is a Bluetooth receiver. So there's a lot of phones now that are coming out without headphone jacks for lots of reasons. So Apple started it, and a lot of the Android phones are doing it too, saving space and whatnot. But Bluetooth headphones, wireless headphones are much more expensive. They don't sound as good, and it's just more convenient. Everyone has a pair of wired headphones. So what you can do is pair this little device to your phone and plug in your wired headphones and just kind of clip it on you wherever you want. Go running, tie the cord around, do whatever. So
it's the solution to the problem.
Exactly. It sucks because it shouldn't have even.
It shouldn't even be this way.
It shouldn't have been.
Here we are.
In the first place. Here we are in 2018. Making separate devices to add functionality back into a device that didn't.
Really should already have it.
Yeah. But this is a great one. I'll post a link on where to get this or similar ones in the show notes of the podcast and in the links or in the description of the YouTube video. It's fantastic though. I've used it for a couple of days now, and it's great because I like my wired headsets a little bit more than my wireless ones, and it's nice to have the convenience of being able to use pretty much whichever one I want. So that's
I'm gonna need it soon.
Yeah, well, it's really annoying. So I have a couple of phones next to me. Neither of them have a headphone jack, which sucks because they're useful. And it's not even that they're useful; it's that they're universal. There's nothing that not a lot of audio devices now, other than phones, that don't have the headphone jack, and it's super annoying not having it all the time. But now I can just keep this device with me. The only annoying thing with this is it's another thing that I will have to charge. So
yeah, exactly.
It's another thing I'll have to keep with me, and it's another thing I'll have to make sure it stays charged. I haven't had to recharge it in the last 3 or 4 days while I've been using it, but
still another thing to remember.
It's another thing to remember, and unfortunately, it's using an old micro USB charging port. So if it was USB-C, it would just be easier because I'd be able to charge all my things. But eventually, we'll get there.
One step at a time.
One step at a time. So that's my tech stuff, and I don't think I really have anything else.
Yeah, I think we can wrap it up. I think we hit all the points, and I think Corey would be proud of us.
Well, we'll see.
I mean, he'll probably fire me tomorrow.
Yeah, there's a chance we'll just be looking for new staff all around.
Yeah. That's okay.
Any stories you have other than the Boston Pizza one, or any?
That's the only one I had.
Anything you want to plug?
I'll let her. No, it's okay. I'll let our viewers know how that one goes, though.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, I'll keep them posted. We'll try to get our viewers back for next week, and I'll let you know how my war with Big Pizza goes.
Big Pizza.
Yeah.
Do you have any animal stories?
No, I didn't even think to bring one today.
I've got none.
Yeah, but I don't want to take Corey's his bit.
I think that'll be pretty good. I think we'll end it off now. It'll be pretty short this week, but that's okay. Short and sweet is not the worst thing.
Nah, we'll take it.
Yeah. We will be. We'll be back next week, so make sure to follow us and subscribe to us and like and all the other things that you have to remember to do on social media. So on Twitter and Instagram, we are at Open Collar Pod, and on Facebook, you can catch us at facebook.com/Open Collar Podcast. Make sure you give us a like there, just so you can know when we're streaming and all that kind of stuff. And the last thing is YouTube, youtube.com/GoVNC. We need a lot of make sure you subscribe, because we need to change that URL to something else, and we can't do it with as few subscribers as we have.
How many do we need?
We need 100.
All right, come on, people.
Come on.
We need birthday singers. Let's go.
Just subscribe and help us out a little bit here. And all right, so I think that's all for this week at Open Color. My name is Rochelle. I've been with Ryan this evening.
Glad to be back.
Yeah, absolutely. And unfortunately, Corey cannot be with us, but he will be back next week, and he will do a much better much better job of hosting this than I have done. So just keep it casual all week, and follow us on the socials so you keep up with what we're doing.
See you next time, everybody.
Bye.